We're going to take some time right now to review working with fractions, namely with multiplying and dividing them. Working with fractions can be a little overwhelming at times. A lot of folks don't like doing that, but once you play with them a little bit, once you practice enough, they're actually not that bad to work with. Let's begin by taking a look at multiplication. Multiplication is actually quite simple. To multiply two fractions, all you do is you multiply the tops, the numerators, together, and you multiply the bottoms, the denominators, together. In example 1 up here, we have 1 over 2 times 3 over 4. 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 4 is 8. That gives me an answer of 3/8, 3 over 8. 3 over 8 does not simplify, and so I'm all done. It was as easy as that. The next example is similarly easy. We have 5 over 18 times 3 over 10. 5 times 3 is 15. 18 times 10 is 180, and that reduces to 1 over 12. Now, when you multiply, you can make your life a little bit simpler in the beginning. Some folks like to simplify first, and then the ending fractions aren't as large or as difficult to work with. You cannot cross multiply two fractions unless there's an equal sign in between them, but you can cross simplify. So you can cross cancel, but you cannot cross multiply. We'll take the same fractions, 5 over 18 and 3 over 10. Well, 5 and 10 will simplify. 5 goes into 5 one time, 5 goes into 10 two times. And so I'm left with a 1 here and a 2 here. 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 18 6 times. I'm left with a 1 there and a 6 there. And now I'll follow the same rule. Multiply the numerators, the tops, multiply the denominators, the bottoms, and that gives me my answer. 1 times 1 is 1, 6 times 2 is 12, I get 1 over 12. Notice I get the same answer as I did over here, so it didn't really matter whether I simplified first or simplified at the end, but it did make life a little bit simpler. There's some examples for you to try, examples 3, 4, 5, and 6 in the Explorer's packet that you have. Please pause the video here and let's try those examples. Let's see how you did. The answer to number 3 in simplest form is 2 over 21. The answer to number 4, 1 over 12. Answer to number 5 is 3 over 4. And the answer to number 6, 16 over 25. Now, if you want to see how any of those solutions are worked out, you can go on the website and look under the Notes and Home Fun packets. If you go into the Notes packet, it has all of these examples worked out for you. Let's take a look at dividing. Dividing fractions is basically the same thing as multiplying, but you have one step to get ready in the beginning. We have to change the division to multiplication and flip the fraction that's right after the division sign upside down. I call it keep, change, flip. Here we have 1/2 divided by 2/3. Keep, change, division becomes multiplication, flip, the 2/3 becomes 3 over 2. Keep, change, flip. Now I have multiplication. I multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators, and I get the answer 3/4. What does this mean? Well, 2/3 goes into 1/2 3/4 of a time. That's its basic division. So how many times does 2/3 go into 1/2? It goes in 3/4. Example 2 is the same idea. Keep, change, flip. So 3/8 times, flip the next one, 16 over 9. And now I'm just doing my basic multiplication. Here I said, well, 3 and 9 reduce to 1 and 3. 16 and 8 reduce to 1 and 2. I come up with 2/3. Sometimes fractions can look a little bit nasty. Take a look at example 4. We have a fraction over a fraction. When we have a fraction over a fraction, we call that a complex fraction because it looks complicated. but we can simply write it the same old-fashioned way that we had it up here and down here. 1/4 divided by 5 over 7. So 1 over 14 divided by 5 over 7. And now keep, change, flip, and now I can use my multiplication rules, and I end up with 1 over 10. There's a few examples for you to try, example 3 and example 5. If you'd pause the video here for a moment, give those examples a try, we'll see how you do. Okay, let's see how you did. Example 3 in simplest form is 1 over 4. Example 5 is 17 over 14. Again, if you wish to see those worked out, please take a look in the notes packet. The completed version is under Notes and Home Funds packets on the website. Let's finish up by taking a look at two last examples that make us think a little bit about what they have going on. Example 6. You need 2/3 of a gallon of water, and you have a small container, and it happens to hold 1/6 of a gallon. The question is, how many of these containers do you need to fill the larger one, the one that holds 2/3 of a gallon? Well, what they want to know is how many times does 1/6 go into 2/3? How many of these does it take to fill this container up? Well, how many times does 1/6 go into 2/3? That's 2/3 divided by 1/6. Keep, change, flip, 2/3 times 6 over 1, that equals 4 over 1. It would take 4 of the small containers to fill the larger container. Basically, when you have a problem like that, you just have to think for a couple of moments exactly what they're talking about. And once you do that, quite often the pieces begin to come together. Final example we'll take a look at is example 7. It says, how many inches are in 1/6 of a foot? Now, the key word here is of. Of means multiply. So 1/6 of a foot, 12 inches. So 1/6 times 12 inches gives me 2. There are 2 inches in 1/6 of a foot. One last example for you to try is example 8. Please pause here, give that a try. Number 8, the answer is approximately 2,346.7 feet. And so that's everything you need to know about multiplying and dividing fractions. A little bit of practice, before you know it, you'll be an expert.